So I've always known I was a horrible employee. I wouldn't necessarily say I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I knew I was a horrible employee. Like I'm one, if my kid says they have a field trip tomorrow, that's it. I'm calling off. All that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always known where my priorities lie. Because I didn't have anyone really in my family that were entrepreneurs. I knew, like realtors. My grandfather owned a trucking company, but he was we, are estranged basically. So I knew of him. I just didn't know the intricate, details of running a business. So I never wanted to work for anyone, but I didn't want to be my own boss because, there's that layer of security when you work for someone else. It's like, okay, I go, I do my job, I get my paycheck. When you really understand what entrepreneurship is, and it's like, okay, so I have to hustle up, every bit of my lifestyle, it's intimidating. It's often intimidating. So once I got past that, then it was like, yes, I realized how all of it came because my mind is always wondering like, okay, so how does this work? So how can it work better? Like, that's how my mind has always worked. Yeah. But again, you just like that security. So once you jump off and you don't have the security anymore and you fly, it's no going back from that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wanted to go and get a job right now today, it would do me and the person no service.
Right. No, I feel you on that. Yeah. Can you talk about some of those initial challenges in the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. Okay. So my first business, I started back like in 2015. It was taxes. So I have an enrolled agent, so I can do taxes as well. The advertising is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, that and managing your time. So advertising, I didn't know all of that. So I initially studied healthcare, nursing, you know what I'm saying? Like administrative healthcare, all of those things. So advertising is not a part of that. So I always joke with my mom and say, I got $68,000 worth of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my college education. And it's like, I want to jump off the mat when Sally Mae called me. Like I'm ready to gas her up. Like don't call my phone, but really though, so you don't learn those things. So getting it out there, getting it in front of people and having it be consistent, it was like a turnoff to me. I was like, I don't want to do that. So for me, the second time which would have been the notary or the apostille business. That's where I had Dre. And he's like, he introduced me to Google and you know what I'm saying? Like back then, I think I was like the only company in the North California that did apostilles. So when my Google ads hit, they hit. Yeah. Like it took off. Like and I want to say I spent probably $300 to $600 a month, and I mean I was grossing $6,000 to $10,000. Like it was popping. And that was my second month in business. So imagine going from terrified to my first. I want to say I launched it in March, right? Yeah. It was the end of March. It was the 20th of March actually. I finally launched it. The first probably 10 days or 7 days, I think I made like $500. I sold one, still did a couple general notary jobs. The next month, which was April, I came out and I think I grossed, I want to say $6,900. And it was just like ads, so people were like calling my phone. The second month in business. Yeah. So that hooked me. So from there, I figured out everything else, which would be the time management. And I found that you have to transition from an employee to an employee, or to self-employed and then into a business owner. Yeah. So those are steps that people don't anticipate. Yeah. So the biggest thing for me was, like I said, was advertising. Once that was done, it was the transition because like you said, I was used to being to work on time. You do your job, you get off at 5:30. You go home, you fix it, right? Now it's like, no, people are calling you at 8 o'clock. They don't care if your business is closed. They're going to try it anyway. Right. And when you're new, you're snatching up the phone. You know what I'm saying? So it's 8 o'clock. You're trying to field calls and take information, and you're trying to figure out how to ask people for money, right? Because you're used to getting the money given to you. Like they tell you, this is what I'm going to pay you. You say you might negotiate a little bit. Okay, you come out. This is what they're paying you. They take their taxes, everything. So now I'm having to figure out, like, I got money hitting square left and right. I'm like, ooh, this is nice. I have to wait every 2 weeks for this. But then it's like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when the next paycheck is coming. So you have to remember to put some money to the side. You're still building a business. Yep. So then you have to have an account to say, okay, I'm going to reinvest in my company. And then you have to remember taxes, right? So because I have tax background, I realized, so I'm starting to calculate, like, wait, how much am I going to have to pay? Because you need to have all those things lined up or they will shut your whole business down. Yeah. So it's just that transition. It's a mindset. And I think once you get the mindset, everything else can become second nature.